and Boston College. Welcome to Boston for the NCAA East Regional. A few reminders before we get started. If you would take a minute to check your cell phones and devices and please set them to silent. I will do the same. And please, in this room, refrain from flash photography or video footage from the media seats. The satellite coordinates for this session, just real quickly, this will be on Galaxy 17/17K, slot C. Downlink is 12044.5 and H. And if you have any questions or need that again, just let me know. Also, before we get started, just so for the benefit of the media, the pool reporters for the session in Boston will be Dana O'Neill from The Athletic and Matt Norlander from CBS Sports. We'll get started with the first of our participants in Game 1, which tips off at 7:27 p.m. tomorrow with West Virginia Mountaineers representing the Big 12 Conference with a record of 26-10. We welcome head coach Bob Huggins. Coach asked if we just go right to questions. If you raise your hand and identify yourself, please, we'll get a microphone over to you. And again, please just introduce yourself for the benefit of our satellite audience. Over here in front, please.
Hi, I'm Lisa Chung with the Skyboat. Coach, this is the first time you're facing Jay Wright since the 2011-2012 season. How have you prepared going against Villanova?
Pretty much like we do everybody else. Study some film, try to figure out some tendencies, try to figure out how you can score. Just pretty much the same thing we do for everybody else.
In the back, please.
Mike Abelson, the New Hampshire Union leader. Bob, what's the game plan going to be utilizing Kanate on the inside to try and deter their guards and go up against Spellman?
Pretty much the same thing we always do. He's in the back of the press, so it's great to have a guy like him back there that can block shots, change shots. It makes people pull up and shoot jump shots a lot. And we don't change that much. We try to look and see if there's something we can take advantage of or something that they can take advantage of, and then we'll try to work with that. But the basic core of what we do, we don't change.
In front over here, please.
John Small, Philadelphia Inquirer. Coach, Villanova obviously led the nation in scoring, but they've also had success in games played in the 60s or low 70s. Is there a pace that you want this game at?
I don't think we want it in the 60s and 70s. We're better when we score. We're better when the game's sped up. We're gonna try to speed the game up and play at a faster pace.
In front over here, please.
Greg Hunter, Blue and Gold News. Coach, travel issues for you guys, even leaving San Diego, some issues maybe, and then obviously having to get here early. What kind of logistical problems has that been?
I missed the flight back because I flew back with a friend the night before so I could get to a high school game on Monday night. So I missed that, but I think it was an hour and a half or 2-hour delay, something about a little bit of maintenance on the plane. And then I was coming back from a high school game and I got a call from our travel coordinator who said that the NCAA called and they were calling for all this snow here, and we had to leave on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. So we're scrambling around we had to practice before, so we're scrambling around trying to get a hold of our guys to make sure that everybody knew we were going to practice at 9:30. And then I think an air conditioner went bad, right? The worst thing in the whole deal has been Jay Kuntz sitting behind me. Jay was screaming like a little schoolgirl. The air conditioning unit, something happened to it, and we got smoke into the deal, and people are saying Hail Marys and trying to think of all the bad things they did and ask forgiveness and all that, but it wasn't all that bad.
Hi, Bob. Rich Thompson, Boston Herald. What does Ron Everhart brought to your staff?
Well, a lot of things. Ronnie's got a lot of experience, and I'm blessed because I've got him and Larry Harrison, who both are former head coaches, and then Eric Martin played for me. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have guys that have sit in the chair where you ultimately have to make the decisions. So they're very aware of what goes into that, and I think. When you have guys like they really take a lot off of my plate, which is, as I'm getting older, I need that, and Ronnie's a West Virginia guy, which is important as well because Ronnie knows everybody. I mean, there's not a single person in Fairmont, West Virginia that Ronnie doesn't know, and that helps us I think from a stand. We've had great attendance. West Virginia people love to support West Virginia people, and that it really helps to have Ronnie there. But on the floor, he's terrific, as I'm sure you know if you covered him. He's terrific. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and he was a guy. I was kind of the same way. We were guys that had to figure out ways to get on the floor. Had to figure out things that coaches wanted done that other people didn't do, so that we could get on the floor. So, I think that's a really good advantage.
Mitch Vingle from Charleston Gazette-Mail. Bob, I was wondering, we talked a lot about Villanova's offense. Can you talk about their defense a little bit and what problems it may present?
Well, they've got really good length and they've got really good quickness, and I think they're a really good rebounding team. I mean, everybody talks about their offense, and justifiably so, but they do. Jay's teams have always guarded, and I think he's been at the forefront of doing some different things defensively. They were the first ones that, I'm sure he stole it from somebody. I'm sure Jay didn't think of it, but they were the first ones that fronted ball screens that I saw. And it's kind of different. You used to, you catch the ball and you look and you see the screen there, but when we played Villanova, you looked and you saw their guy there. So it was a little bit different. So I think he's not proud enough not to change. You know what I mean? Some guys are like, they don't want to change anything or adapt something from someone else, and I think Jay's been really good at being able to do that.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe. Bob, you mentioned before with your team the basic core of what you guys do doesn't change. But for you as a coach, and you just talked about Jay adapting, how have you changed from the days at Cincinnati to now?
Oh, I steal everything I can. I watch tape, and if somebody's doing something pretty good, we're doing it the next day. I've never had an original thought in my life. My dad was a coach, and I got a lot of things from my father, and he kind of looked up to a guy named Ed McCluskey, and I spent a lot of time with Coach, but I mean, I still to this day, I mean, Jay, honest to God, Jay was fronting ball screens against us, and then we fronted ball screens against them, and because it seemed like the thing to do, and so I don't. I'd steal everything I can. I don't know how to put it any plainer. I mean, what? If I see something I think helps us, we're going to do it.
John Small, Philadelphia Inquirer. Coach, with Villanova having 4 to 5 guys, sometimes 6, who can have the green light to shoot the three-pointer and can hit it, what kind of problems does that present, and particularly the way they pass the ball and look for the open shot?
Well, I think you hit on maybe what they do best, and that's pass the ball. They do a great job passing the ball. They do a great job of getting the ball to the guy most open. Sometimes it's not the guy that's open. Sometimes it's the guy that's most open. And when you put 5 guys on the floor that can all make shots, that spreads you. we're just going to go play. I mean, I don't think there's any secret. We do what we do, and we've got to try to do what we do better than they do what they do.
Mark Herman from Newsday in New York. To follow up on that, how has the impact of the three-pointer changed in your coaching career? You know,
Well, I think there are two things that have really changed our game dramatically, and that's the clock, obviously, and the three-point shot. If you go back and look at the games that every time there's a Final Four, they show Villanova, Georgetown, right? They show Michael Jordan's shot. And they're talking about defense, and they were all standing in the lane. I mean, they used to let people shoot it out there because the percentages were lower. They were playing the percentages, and everybody stood in the lane and guarded the lane and didn't let anybody have anything easy. And now when you get one more point for a shot outside the line, that kind of draws the defense out. I think it's really opened the floor up. I think that's the biggest impact the three-point shots had, and I think that was the intent, was to open the floor up more.
is that a good thing?
Depends on if you got guys who can shoot or not. If you got guys who can shoot, it's a great thing. If you got guys who can't shoot, it's an awful thing. It's all a matter of perspective.
Time for a couple more. Back to Chris.
Chris Gasper, Boston Globe again. Bob, how have you mellowed as a coach over the years, or have you mellowed?
Old age, I guess. I don't know if I've mellowed. I just think I pick and choose my spots better. How's that? That's pretty diplomatic, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know. You know, when the younger you are, I think it seems like it's more life and death. You know what I mean? And as you get older and you get more experienced and you've seen so many things, it's not as much life and death. Now I say that, and you know, we lost Oklahoma State. I went home, pulled the covers up over my head, and stayed there for 4 hours. You know, because I just was like, I've been more distraught, but I can't remember when. You know, I think age, maturity, and experience have a lot to do with it. You know kind of when to do it and when not to do it.
Hey, Bob, Adam Zagoria. Just kind of your general thoughts on the one-and-done rule. I know the Big East came out with a recommendation yesterday suggesting a two-and-none rule where kids should have to spend, 2 years in college if they commit to college. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I've always thought the more time that young people could spend on a college campus, the better prepared they're going to be for life. On whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4, I mean, you're going to be more prepared for life. I mean, a bunch of college graduates in here, I would assume. And you think back about the difference, when you were 18 years old and coming out of high school, and the difference when you were 21, 22 years old coming out of college. And that has a lot to do with a lot of things. I mean, you experience more things. Obviously, hopefully you come out a whole lot more educated and prepared for whatever it is that you decide to do with your life. So I'm all for the longer you have to stay in college, I think the better it is for you. But, I'm trying to think. The last time I had a one and done was like 2000. DeMar Johnson, I think. Yeah, I think that's the last one and done I had. So ask Calipari. He's so much smarter about those kind of things than I am.
Final question for Coach Pete.
Pete Thamel from Yahoo. To dovetail off that, was it a conscious decision to not go after those one-and-done type guys, or did your just system philosophy evolve and there's not a ton of them in your backyard, obviously, now. Did it just kind of evolve?
Have you seen my team, Pete? I mean, I told my athletic director that, you know, really he had two choices: either fire me for recruiting the guys I recruited, or give me a raise for being able to win with them. You know, we got a bunch of guys that really were looking for an opportunity, you know, and to play at the highest level, and we got a bunch of guys, quite frankly, that were recruited, you know, kind of whatever mid-major schools, and we saw something in them. We got maybe two that were recruited that we had to beat like the big boys for, and the rest of them are guys that just love to play, wanted to go somewhere, get better, wanted to play at the highest level, and we've been fairly successful, you know, with those guys. I mean, I'd like to have those guys, but you know, we're probably not going to get them. You know, so you spend a whole lot of time recruiting guys you don't get. I mean, I thought about that at the end at Cincinnati, you know, because I'm recruiting all these guys, and we got a few, but we didn't get very many, and so you spend all that time recruiting guys you're not going to get. You know, it's like chasing a girl you want to marry but can't. You know what I mean? You spend all that time, spend all that money chasing her around, buying her things, and at the end of the day, she walks off with somebody else.
Coach Huggins, thank you.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we're joined by the student athletes from West Virginia. From your left to right, we have senior Javon Carter, senior Daxter Miles Jr., and junior Issa Ahmad. This time we'll take questions for the student athletes. If you would, please direct your question to a specific student athlete. And again, please, for the benefit of the guests at the podium, please introduce yourself before your question. And we'll get a microphone to you. Start in the back, please.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. First for Javon, then for Daxter. As seniors on this team, what pressure or added responsibility have you been putting on your shoulders in the build-up to this weekend?
Hello? We don't look at it as pressure, but we do look at it as a lot of responsibility. This is our fourth NCAA tournament, our third time in the Sweet 16. We've been here. We want to advance, and we're going to do everything we can to try to help our team and put us in the right position to win.
And Daxter, will you take that one as well, please?
Hello? We just got to get our guys ready to play and just make sure we come to play also.
We're here in front, please.
This is Lisa Chung with the Skyboat, and this is a question for any of you guys. You know, as veterans coming into this tournament, what's your advice for the younger kids?
Teams are going to make their runs. Just don't feed into the crowd. Stay focused, stay within the game plan. Don't take no possessions off, because one possession could cost you a game. And and just play. Don't worry about it being an NCAA tournament. Just give it everything you got, and you're going to win or you're going to lose.
We're here to John.
John Small with Philadelphia Inquirer. Javon, can you talk about Villanova's three-point shooting and plus Jalen Brunson and what kind of difficulties they present?
From watching film, they're a lot similar to Kansas. They got a lot of guards that can shoot, could drive. Everybody can score. They hit tough shots. We just got to key in on guys, follow the scouting report. Our coaches do a good job of watching a tremendous amount of film. We're going to come to play on Friday, and we're going to see what happens.
Go stay on that side.
Yeah, Kyle Hightower, the Associated Press, particularly for the seniors, Devon and Daxter. Coach Huggins described you guys as a group of guys that's looking for an opportunity. How has that kind of aided your hunger and drive during your four-year career?
I felt like ever since our freshman year, we've always been underrated. We've always been the underdogs coming into any game we've played, so we always had that extra chip on our shoulder. Me and Dax, we feel like we never got the credit we deserve. We feel like we the best backcourt in the nation, but I guess don't nobody else besides us see us that way. So we always play with an extra chip on our shoulder because we always got something to prove.
Yeah, like Javon said, we just love playing basketball. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. We just have fun with it, and like he said, play with a chip on our shoulder.
Other questions for the student athletes, please? In the back.
This is a question for anybody. So you guys have kind of earned a nickname of Press Virginia, but Villanova tends to score the ball a lot. I believe they're first in points per possession in the NCAA. So they score very well in transition. How do you guys plan to change your defense in that regard?
Issa, will you take that one?
I don't think we're going to change our defense. We're going to press. Try to take them out of what they do well and, just try to take everything away from them.
Right next.
Mike Abelson, New Hampshire Union leader. Issa, you and Sagaba on the inside are going to have to deal with a lot of cutting guards and then have to have a game plan against Spellman. What's the game plan? What's the plan for the interior defensively for you guys?
Like I said, just try to take it away from them, try to make it as difficult as possible, and just try to make them score it over us.
Back to John.
John Small, Philadelphia Inquirer. Along those lines, with Spellman and Pascal being able to step out consistently and hit the three-pointer, what kind of problem does that present with dealing with big men like that?
I don't really think it's really a problem. We ain't face big men in our league that can shoot the ball, and we just gotta stay in front and move our feet.
Over here, please, Nicole.
Nicole Auerbach, The Athletic. Javon, you're talking about you believe you guys are the best backcourt in the country. Why, everyone always talks about how important guard play is in the NCAA tournament. Why do you believe it's so important this time of year?
It's a guard's game. Most teams have 5 guys that play on the perimeter. Everybody can shoot it, everybody can dribble it, everybody can pass it. So if you have great leadership at the guard position, then your team is probably going to go a long way. It starts with the guard. Everything starts through the guards. So just having great leaderships and great guard from the jump, you have a good chance.
Samir Kumar, Global Basketball, once again. Just kind of out of curiosity, do you believe that you would be considered the best backcourt in the country if you played for like a #1 seed?
It's not for us to determine.
Any further questions for the student athletes? Over here on the left, please.
Javon, Roman Stubbs, Washington Post. On Brunson, what makes him such a tough matchup, and do you know him well, or have you had experience against him, or got to watch him a lot?
What make him tough? He's smart. He's very smart. He's crafty. He know how to use his body well. He knows about angles and stuff. And yeah, I played with him growing up. We played together in AAU. So we're very familiar with each other.
Take one or two more for the student athletes, please. Okay, I'll find one over here.
Nancy Armour with USA Today Sports. This is for any of you guys. It sounded like there was a little bit of an incident on the plane yesterday with an air conditioning unit or something. What was that like, and did you guys even notice that it was going on?
I slept through it.
All right. Any final questions? West Virginia, thank you. Yes, it is. It's down with the Bruins side. Okay, up next on the schedule will be